Boxing truth here. Looks like Luis King Kong Ortiz is going to have to wait in line for his shot, for his first world title shot, since he's fucking with the WBA. And it's pretty much in no man's land, since he doesn't really have that. He's not really on the best of terms with WBA. Ever since he pulled out of his fight with Alexander Ustinov, claims there was drug testing not being agreed upon. However, he still lost recognition of his interim title. He was the interim champion, which is a worthy belt to have because it could really get you that mandatory shot. I've noticed in the past that interim champions within the WBA have gotten their shots against even the super champions of the WBA. The most recent one I can remember was Rasheed Warren, who was a super champion for the WBA, defending his super title against the interim champion. I forgot his name. He's trained by Ricky Hatton, and he caused an upset earlier this year. And now he's the WBA super champion after defeating Rasheed Warren. So it's a worthy belt to have, and it's a belt that Ortiz no longer is in his possession because he didn't go through with the Ustinov fight. So Ortiz is not necessarily on the best of terms with the WBA, which could impact when he's going to get his title shot. And of course, Ortiz wants it next, feels he was assured that it would be next. However, this is WBA. It's a lot of stuff that needs to be handled. It's a lot of shit going on within the WBA, all these belts, all these interim regular titles. They're still in the process of eliminating these belts, but there's just shit that gets in the way, like big money fights, big lucrative fights, or fights that are significant for the sport, which is why the WBA approved for Joshua Klitschko to be held for the WBA super title, even though it's against WBA's policy. They only grant super titles to fighters that have made 5 to 10 defenses of WBA strap or are gunning for another recognized organization title, which is what gives you that super title recognition that WBA gives you. But WBA went against their policy in the Joshua Klitschko fight for obvious reasons: politics, money, sanctioning fees, and also it was such an important, significant fight that WBA felt they had to award the winner the super championship. So now that Anthony Joshua is the super champ for WBA and he's such a significant power player in the sport, the sanctioning fees that he's going to provide WBA, it makes decisions very tough in order to just enforce a mandatory on him, considering that Joshua doesn't really need the belts. Of course, he would like to have the belts, as they are still valuable as a selling point, marketing, all that shit. But now he's the super champion, and of course he's going to ask for an exemption because he wants to keep his belts intact if he can. He's not going to willingly let them go, but if he's being pushed to a corner, he will, in order to get to be involved in the biggest fights out there. And right now, that's the Klitschko rematch. That's the biggest money fight on the table at the current moment for Anthony Joshua. So looking to make that fight, Luis Ortiz, he's really on the bottom of the ladder. I mean, he didn't go through with that Ustinov fight. He's been fucking around. He's been MIA. He's been inactive. He's been hurt. He's pulled out of a bomb fight against Derek Rossi. I mean, I like Ortiz. I think he's a very dangerous heavyweight. Possibly could be the most skilled, even the best heavyweight out there. There are limitations to him, his age, and also he has to be matched correctly. If you put him in there with a guy that's trying to survive, trying to run away from him, he's not going to look good. If you put him in there with a banger, a guy that's going to go after him, try to fuck him up, he looks spectacular. So he needs to be matched correctly. He needs to be in the style-wise fights. He needs to be in the type of fights that he looks good. The Malik Scott, that type of style, he's not going to look good because he has to create offense, and that's his weakness. He's not very good at creating offense. He's very good when you attack him, though. because he's a really good counter puncher. He's a very skillful fighter. I like what I see in Luis Ortiz. He needs to work on creating offense though, which is what's missing in his arsenal. Great counter puncher. He needs opponents to cooperate with him in order to bring the best out of his offensive ability. And Joshua, his style will really suit Luis Ortiz. It's a very dangerous fight for Anthony Joshua. Ortiz could knock out Anthony Joshua. But right now, Ortiz has to wait in line for his shot. Of course, Eddie Hearn and Joshua are going to ask for an exemption. They're going to say, look, if Klitschko wants to rematch, are you really going to turn that sanctioning fee down? Are you going to really not want to be involved in this fight? Because that's the fight they're going to take. If not, they're going to fight Pulev since the IBF is putting so much pressure. And the WBA, I believe, is willing to play ball. They're going to play ball because they were actually willing to bend the rules or break the rules by allowing the winner of Joshua Klitschko to become the super champion, which is against their policy. So, of course, they're going to bend the rules even more by granting an exemption, and they have all these rules in place for the WBA. It doesn't matter that Luis Ortiz is threatening litigation. Luis Ortiz is wasting his fucking time if he does that. He's wasting time and money and pretty much just losing much valuable time that he doesn't have much left in his career. And he's been doing jack shit. He's been looking for safe fights while he's waiting for his man. I understand. You don't want to take a risky fight since you're the number one contender. You're in line for a shot. But you're going to be waiting for a long time. This is what happens when you fuck with WBA. You're going to be in no man's land waiting for a long time for a shot. That's what happens when you fuck with the WBA or the WC. You're just waiting and waiting and playing this waiting game while they fuck with you, and all these big names are jumping the ladder or getting special treatment, and you're just doing jack shit, wondering why you're not getting a title shot. But Ortiz, I'm not liking his moves by his team lately. They only signed with Al Heyman for one reason, and that's because Al Heyman was willing to give him a bum fight. That's why they've been trying to get. They've been trying to get a safe fight, not a very dangerous fight, not a very, very risky fight before they get their title shot, which is why they signed with Al Heyman, because Heyman was willing to give him a layup, which he did. He put him on a show extreme undercard he was going to, and have him fight a journeyman in Derek Rossi. That's what Ortiz has been wanting to do, take a safe fight, take a stay busy fight where he's not tested too much but can get some work in to stay sharp until he waits his long-awaited title shot. But he's going to be waiting a lot longer. He's going to have to get back in the ring soon. Litigation is not going to do it since WBA has all these rules in place that protect them. It's just a waste of time and money. I mean, it's not even worth for Ortiz to sue WBA. They're going to do what the fuck they want to do. And it's also in the rules that can grant exemptions for super champions or modify when a super champion has to make a mandatory defense. So Ortiz, he should have went to WBC, not WBC, he should have went the IBF route. If he was highly rated with the IBF, he could have gotten a title shot even sooner. Or participated in an eliminator in the WBC, which was reported earlier this year. I don't know what happened. I didn't do the research on that. He was supposed to be an eliminator with WBC. Maybe he would have gotten on a faster track to a world title shot. But now Luis Ortiz is asked out. He's been inactive. Hasn't fought all year. Hasn't looked good in his last two performances. He underperformed. Styles were, especially Malik Scott's style, was the cause of that. Pulled out of a bum fight. And now Heyman, he's all fucked up right now. He's losing networks. He's lost millions of dollars. He doesn't have any dates. He can't keep his fighters busy. When the hell is Danny Jacobs ever going to fight again? When is Jamal Charlo going to fight again? So now when is Luis Ortiz going to fight again, now that he pulled out of a bum fight? You signed with the wrong advisor at the wrong time, since Heyman's going through all this bullshit with the networks, losing a ton of dates, can't keep his fighters busy. It's not good that you pulled out of a bum fight. It's not good that you pulled out of the Ustina fight. You're not really exactly on the best terms with WBA. You're threatening litigation, a lawsuit that I don't think is going to get you anywhere, but lose you time and money. You're just going to have to wait in line, man. Stay busy. Keep yourself relevant. Keep making noise. Or perhaps pursue another opportunity with another organization. Maybe even drop from the WBA. Go with the WC route or the IBF route. Shit, maybe even the WBO, but I'm not even sure if you're rated by the WBO. But Luis Ortiz, you fucked up, bro. Should have went through with that Ustina fight. Should have kept yourself busy. Shouldn't have pulled out of a bum fight. Signed with Al Heyman at the wrong time. And now you assed out. Making the wrong moves. Not looking so dangerous, since there's a lot of hype about you. You're this dangerous, avoided guy. So why you trying to take the easiest fight before your title shot, bro? Thought you was an animal. Thought you wanted to fight anybody. That's why the Jarrell Miller fight didn't happen. Because you trying to take a safe fight for that title shot. I understand, but bro, if you selling yourself as this big bad dog, this one of the most avoided heavyweights, dangerous heavyweights out there, we should be willing to fight anybody. Going by your reputation and what you're spitting out, through your social media accounts and your promotional team, what they're saying about you, you should be willing to fight any top dog within any of the organization bodies, any of the sanctioning bodies, the Jarrell Millers, or any top worthy contender out there. But you're trying to fight Derek Rossi before a scheduled title fight. And now, you gotta wait in line. Whenever your title shot comes. Joshua Ortiz, it's a really good fight. Interesting fight. But Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua ain't thinking about Luis Ortiz. They're thinking about the money fights, the big fights. The Klitschko's, the Tyson Furies. You're just not part of the plan, Luis Ortiz. But you're going to have to get a title shot some way, somehow. And it might not be against Anthony Joshua that the WBA enforces you to fight. It could end up being the winner of Shannon Briggs versus Fresno Kendo for the regular strap within the WBA. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.